The process of making an edited video from raw footage is one that, tautologically, requires the removal or addition of some material. While streams and VODs often exist, preserving something closer to an unedited story of what happened, they are also extremely long. Quackity SMP, QSMP, for instance, produced just over 400 days worth of VODs on an SMP that lasted just over 400 days. The only way to not miss anything while it was going would be to not sleep for over a year. And even then, things relevant to the QSMP would sometimes happen off-stream or on non-Minecraft streams. While many fans of streamed SMPs compromise by watching only a small number of POVs or by relying on live blogs and update accounts, edited videos remain the most popular way of consuming Minecraft YouTube. Yet, editing, or summarizing, or live blogging is not a neutral act. It changes the story and the viewer's perception of the story. In translation studies, much has been written of the way in which a good translator is expected to be invisible, to create the illusion to the reader that they are reading the original story. But it is always an illusion, from the editor's preface to the translator's invisibility. All rewritings, whatever their intention, reflect a certain ideology and a poetics, and as such manipulate literature to function in a given society in a given way. Rewriting is manipulation undertaken in the service of power, and in its positive aspect can help in the evolution of a literature and a society. Rewritings can introduce new concepts, new genres, new devices, and the history of translation is the history also of literary innovation, of the shaping power of one culture upon another. But rewriting can also repress innovation, distort and contain, and in an age of ever-increasing manipulation of all kinds, the study of the manipulative process of literature as exemplified in translation can help us toward a greater awareness of the world in which we live. In this essay, I explore the ways that edited videos can change the text and the perception of the text through the lens of 3 servers: Lifesteal, the Life Series, and the Dream SMP. Lifesteal SMP and narrativization. In Decontextualizing Information, the digitization of video editing practices at the BBC, the authors discuss the process of editing raw footage, which can be arranged in innumerable ways and edited into an infinite variety of video narratives. The same raw footage, when edited and arranged by different people, can be used to create drastically different narratives. In Season 4 of the Lifesteal SMP, Vitalacy and Bacon Waffles both made videos with sections from the same VOD. Bacon's video focuses on his doubts over the meeting Vitalacy's calling. He includes Sam before the meeting, saying, "I'm convinced this is how we die." And then he emphasizes the ways in which the meeting's a lie by including a conversation with Spoke afterwards.
So you said you're done with exploits too, Spoke?
Yeah, bruh.
Spoke is known on Lifesteal as a liar, and this is a particularly blatant lie in context. Surprising no one, he does not stop using exploits after this. Just a couple weeks later, he obtains operator permissions, and shortly after that, he successfully ends the server with exploits. From Bacon's POV, this video tells the story of Vitalacy and Spoke lying for unclear purposes. In a previous video by Bacon Waffles, and not mentioned in any of Vitalacy's videos, Bacon's team discusses Vitalacy's use of exploits to spawn kill Bacon's teammate. What Bacon doesn't include, and what is possibly the most impactful part of the VOD, is that after the meeting, Vitalacy kills himself. Vitalacy killing himself after being unfairly judged by the entire server is the emotional climax of Vitalacy's video. When Vitalacy uses footage from Bacon's VOD, he includes this exchange.
Are we just letting Vitalacy kill himself? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because he's just doing it for attention.
This is, of course, not in Bacon's video. Neither of them are lying exactly, not in the way that some Minecraft YouTubers, including Lifestealers, lie. This isn't dubbed over or even summarized particularly inaccurately. These are all real clips from the VOD. They're both accurately representing how they experienced it at the time, rather than giving post-hoc justification. Vitalacy and Spoke were knowingly lying when they said there would be no more exploits on Lifesteal Season 4. Bacon did villainize Vitalacy and then dismiss his very real pain as attention-seeking. But they're not totally honest either. Both portray themselves in the most sympathetic possible light, and their enemies in the least sympathetic. while cutting out anything, no matter how important, that might undercut that narrative. Yet, in doing so, the videos do a good job at showing what it felt like to be Bacon or Vitalicey. Most people have a sympathetic narrative for their own actions. Most people remember the ways in which they were hurt more than the ways they hurt others. Bacon and Vitalicey's videos serve as records of how they tell the story of what happened, or perhaps even how they remember what happened. Something that's characterizing and insightful in its own right, especially as the struggle over the narrative and the ways that people fail to understand each other become more and more central to the story of Lifesteal Season 4. And there is another aspect to this: the relative popularity of edited videos compared to VODs. The edited videos of the meeting have 87,000 views and 193,000 views. The VODs have 912 and 324 views respectively. The vast majority of viewers won't know that anything has been left out. They only know the story that was told to them. Returning to decontextualizing information, the authors discuss the concept of double contingency. When creating for a mass audience, the interaction only goes one way, and it spans many contexts. Videos are often decontextualized in order to craft a message that can be better recontextualized by many different viewers across many different contexts. Editing becomes a way to communicate a narrative across this divide. The ways the videos may be perceived as inaccurate by stream viewers highlights a deeper truth. There is no way to create a narrative for others without losing something in the process. The Life series and canon. Unlike streamed SMPs, the Life series has no VODs. You cannot compare an individual's narrative to what actually happened in a more unedited format. The best you can do is compare across different perspectives and try to stitch together your own guesses of what happened. As an example, Lizzie, LD Shadow Lady, is known to lie in her videos to the point of dubbing over what was actually said in real time. This is a trait shared by Rochambeau and Lifesteal, but while you can compare Rochambeau's dubbed over version to the Pangy stream that played out live on Twitch, you can't do the same with Lizzie's episodes. If Lizzie's perspective of a conversation directly contradicts someone else's perspective of the same, there's an easy guess to be made, but you can't know. The fact that the creators are known to roll back and re-record in order to create a better story adds to this. In Lifesteal, fandom often considers canon to be what actually happened, which can be determined via streams or detective work. But in the Life series, and unlike Lifesteal, this is usually fundamentally unknowable, and may not even be the thing that fans care about in comparison to the canon of the videos. In the recordings for Third Life, Scar had at least 2 deaths that were cut. One to a magma block, which was rolled back due to technical issues, and one which was a kill by Martin that was rolled back in order to give everyone a better episode. But neither is broadly considered canon to Third Life, even by people who know about them. This is particularly relevant because, like Lifesteal, creators narrativize. A different perspective may show sides to a character that aren't necessarily highlighted in their own perspective, or 2 perspectives may contradict entirely. Each perspective of the Life series is told by its own unreliable narrator, each with their own motivations, and something not cut from the series as a whole may still be cut from individual perspectives. As an example of 2 different possible motivations, Scar's edited videos, both in the Life series and in Hermitcraft, are consistently motivated by making a polished video that tells a coherent story, even if that means leaving things he did out. A good example of this is comparing his 5th episode of Last Life with Ethos. Others can be read as more straightforwardly in character. In Grian's Double Life series, Grian edits out both a statement of, "I'm going to kill everyone," found in Martin's POV, and a conversation he has with Scar about his willingness to kill on Scar's behalf, found in Scar's POV, something that speaks to his willingness to admit to those tendencies within the game. Yet, while Scar's motivations might be seen as more out of character than Grian's, this view simplifies the way that Minecraft YouTube functions as a medium. Within this context, where editing choices may be seen as characterizing, Scar's desire to tell an appealing story can itself be read as a character trait. Or a fan might reject this view of editing entirely and expect each POV as canon for their respective characters. When analyzing Minecraft YouTube, the extent to which editing should be seen as diegetic remains an open question. Of note, since starting this essay, Loreful Good on Tumblr has started a series, Selective Editing, that compares transcripts of different Life series moments in order to compare what people keep or get rid of in their episodes, and to explore how this characterizes them. It is, in many ways, extremely similar to the comparisons made in this section and the prior one, and it is absolutely the sort of thing I hope to see more of in Minecraft YouTube fandom. If you like this essay, check that series out! Dream SMP and the YouTube algorithm. It is a well-known fact, and common joke, that the pursuit of the algorithm shapes all YouTube videos made by serious YouTubers. You can see this very easily if you look at the lengths of videos put out over time. In the past, the algorithm favored very short videos, and when it changed to favoring movie-length videos, YouTubers changed as well. The average video length of a lifestyle video in Season 2 was 12 minutes, with the longest being 38 minutes. In Season 6, the average is 30 minutes, and the longest is over 3 hours. Of course, despite all attempts to understand it and appeal to it, from changing video length to changing thumbnails, the algorithm is also a closely guarded secret. The dark side of this is that this is not only true of what the algorithm promotes, it's also true of what the algorithm takes down or hides. Minecraft YouTube archivists will sometimes be hit by mysterious hate speech strikes which YouTube refuses to explain, and which are not obvious from the content of the VOD. Artistic merit is sometimes enough to get a video age restricted or demonetized rather than taken down altogether, but not always. And if one relies on a large number of views for one's primary income, those are still outcomes to avoid at any cost. The Dream SMP is known for, among other things, its portrayals of abuse and suicide. But as far as I can tell, suicide has only been openly named and discussed during serious lore twice. Both during Wilbur's finale arc, which was labeled on Twitch as for mature audiences only. Notably, C. Wilbur's previous and successful suicide was not labeled as such, nor was C. Tommy's previous suicide attempt. When suicide is brought up on stream once by Tubbo, Sam immediately asks if it's allowed, referencing Twitch TOS. As far as I know, Tommy and its Exile arc, a major story arc centered around an abusive relationship, is never directly referred to as abuse in canon, either in the VODs or the edited YouTube videos. It's just talked about as bad, discussed in terms that can't be easily flagged by an auto-transcription. But this is even more extreme on their edited YouTube videos, which are widely agreed to both be more strict with content moderation and to make more money than Twitch. If you watch Tommy's edited main channel YouTube videos of Exile Arc, it skips from an edit of his VOD from December 14th directly to December 16th. In between those days, on December 15th, C. Tommy attempted suicide. Despite being the climax and ending of Exile Arc, that is left out entirely on his main channel edited videos. Or compare two thumbnails he made covering events that happened on December 4th. Image description. A Tommy VODs video titled, Tommy in it is exiled from the Dream SMP with 2.2 million views. The thumbnail is a piece of fan art of C. Dream smiling menacingly at an unhappy-looking C. Tommy. Image description. A Tommy in it video titled, So Dream exiled me, with 8.4 million views. The thumbnail is a picture of CC Tommy laughing over a screenshot of Dream's Minecraft avatar turned away and shifting without wearing in-game pants, in order to give the impression of showing his butt. The one on his VODs channel is clearly higher effort. It's custom art, likely an expensive commission, that does a good job accurately portraying the content. The main channel thumbnail, on the other hand, is a very standard YouTube clickbait video. It has an exaggerated face, unnecessary caps lock in the title, and a popular YouTuber name-dropped and making a funny pose. Nor do the differences end there. If you watch Tommy's edited videos of Exile Arc, they tell a very different story than the VODs do. They include some of C. Dream's abuse and C. Tommy's suicidality, but the overwhelming focus is on jokes and funny moments. You can see the forces pushing Dream SMP members away from more serious content in their edited YouTube videos in more subtle ways. Quackity has one video that he made from his time playing C. Quackity during the Manberg Pogtopia arc, an arc and character combination that, once again, many fans consider to be a depiction of an abusive relationship, and certainly a story where any summary would have to discuss topics like gay relationships and suicide in order to be honest. The video, of course, is not about any of that. It's a one-off stream, disconnected from the larger plot, in which Quackity tried to make Bad Boy Halo swear. Is it possible that Quackity or Tommy or other Dream SMP members could have made main channel videos of their more serious topics without direct censorship? Yes. The VODs have been up, untouched, some with millions of views, for 4 years. Since 2020, both of them have moved more and more toward discussing serious topics on their main channels. It's also possible that the choice of which streams to edit was done primarily so that YouTube viewers who weren't familiar with the broader Dream SMP plot could watch standalone videos and laugh without context. Maybe those sorts of funny one-off videos, even in a vacuum, would do better and thereby make more money than more serious and narrative-driven videos. But in the YouTube environment described here, and the constant pressure to please the algorithm in order to keep your career, it's impossible to say confidently that's the only reason for the divide between what was streamed on Twitch and what was published on YouTube. When a YouTube video is edited to be different than a Twitch stream, it's worth asking why. Sometimes that answer will give an interesting insight to the story being told and characterize the person telling it. But other times, the answer is less about the story itself and more about the society it's embedded in. C. Tommy may be desperate for people to understand the horror that he experienced, but CC Tommy needs to make money on a platform where honest discussion of suicide and abuse can jeopardize that. His video editing doesn't match his character, even in what's hidden. It contradicts it, and can only be understood by looking past the video to the society that created it. Conclusion. Edited videos have major benefits over VODs or unedited recordings. Most obviously, they are usually shorter. They are easily accessible without requiring knowledge of fan archives or the availability to show up whenever a creator goes live. They're more dense without including time spent mining in silence or more out of character hanging out with chat. They tell a story deliberately with musical cues, editing, and voiceover in order to present a clear and legible narrative. As a result, most viewers, especially more casual viewers, will watch Minecraft YouTube through edited videos. Yet, almost all of these improvements are also changes to how a viewer will understand the story. The size of these changes and the motives behind them can vary between creators and servers, but they'll always exist. And if you're a more dedicated fan of Minecraft YouTube, it's worth thinking seriously about these changes. Looking at what your favorite creator leaves in and what they cut from their videos may give you a new perspective on their character, on what you consider to be canon to their series, or even on society as a whole.